Medusahead is a type of grass species that is native to Europe regions, and this species is now an invasive species in much of the North America, and the first sample of this species was collected in 1884 from Roseburg, Oregon.
Could you tell us why it's a problem?
This species is a huge problem in these regions of the world because this species has a high growth rate, and because of its high growth rate, it results in high seed production. And this species results in high seed production and also has an extended period of growth, therefore it stays for longer period in the soil. And because of this reason, this is becoming a huge problem in this system.
Okay. Where is it found in Oregon and the West?
You know, this is found much in all over the West, but this is a huge problem in eastern Oregon regions, mostly in the semi-arid and arid regions of the West, like mostly in eastern Oregon parts. So this is becoming a huge problem in these areas.
What does Medusahead do to the animals that eat it?
You know, Medusahead as a grass species, the grass species grazing animals usually eat grass species, but the problem with Medusahead is that the species has a stiff awns, and because of these stiff awns, it punctures the mouth of the animal, and therefore animals are not able to eat it. And studies have found that because of Medusahead, the forage value is decreasing by almost 80%. So this species has a very low forage value.
And what did your study show about how Medusahead is a worse problem than existing grass species?
Medusahead, my study is a perfect example which shows that Medusahead has a very high growth rate, and this species has an extended period of growth compared to other native and invasive species. And because of that extended period of growth, this species stays longer, and therefore ultimately this species is gonna take over the West compared to other native and invasive species because it can stay for a long time.
There are already some problems with cheatgrass and other invasive species. Why is this one worse?
Invasive species itself is a huge problem in these systems, but with Medusahead, this species is almost worthless as a forage crop. For example, other species like cheatgrass, which is a huge problem in the West, but this species is at least edible by plant. But Medusahead is only edible in very early growth period, and otherwise it's almost worthless as a crop species, as a grazing animal species. So this species is just keep accumulating in the soil because animal avoids it, and therefore because of that accumulation in the soil, this species is actually becoming a problem for fire also. This species may result into more fire because it keeps accumulating in the soil. You might think that you are looking at a wheat field, but in reality, this is an invasive species, Medusahead. This species is a native to Europe and is now a huge problem in much of the North America. This species is almost worthless as a forage crop. As you can see that it has very pointed tips, and these tips puncture the mouth of the animal when they try to eat it. Therefore, animal avoid it, and this species has been found to reduce the forage value of a field by 80%. It is only used as a forest species when it is very young plant, and that is for a very short period. This species has been increasing at a rate of 12% per year, and it has been found that fire frequency is increased from as much as 60 years to as low as 7 years. As you can see that this species is intermixed with other native or invasive species, but if nothing is done for Medusahead control, this will ultimately going to take over the West, as it has huge potential to increase in its rate. Here at OSU, we are trying to find a solution for Medusahead control. And as a research scientist, we are trying to understand other species, for example, crested wheatgrass and sandbug bluegrass, that might be able to compete with Medusahead and may result or preserve the grazing value of the lands.